Hello, Internet, and welcome to our season premiere of Here We Go, Elegant Magicks, a good society, the good society tale of incantations and infatuations in Bexley under Mount Whitebridge. Whew, okay, getting those mental muscles moving and grooving from
And we've
the
done
get-go.
it. That's the show.
Yeah, that's it. Well, thank you so much, everyone. And until next time. Hi, we're here. We're gorgeous. And we're so excited to debut one, a new season, and two, a new season with magic. We are utilizing the lovely Good Society game from Story Brewers Publishing. They're amazing. Check out their stuff anytime you can. They make wonderful, gorgeous, beautiful narrative-based games. But they also have a lovely expansion called the Expanded Acquaintances, which we're utilizing to incorporate magic into our beautiful Regency world. So we'll get into more of that, obviously, very shortly. But a few channel announcements. We are here on the internets pretty much every single night of the week over here on Game Nights. The next time we shall be on the interwaves will be tomorrow, Friday at 8 o'clock Eastern for Neon Souls. We're the weirdos that have a premiere because it is finale week. We have our finale of Neon Souls tomorrow. Yeah, it's going to be wrenching, to say the very least. We have evil twins. We have missing limbs. It's going to be pretty fantastic. So come check that out. Sean runs that. A couple of us are in that, so check it out. Otherwise, if you're here live, we love you. Thank you for being here. Hang out and chat. Hello. If you're catching us on the YouTubes, wonderful. We have so much content on YouTube. Please hit subscribe if you are here on YouTubes and check out all of our awesome content. And if you're not already, please come hang out with us in Discord because we, shoot the shit, talk about stuff after games, post hilarious memes, lots of pictures of my cats, just throwing that out there. So, but please come check us out there. I'm going to stop talking for a second, and I'm going to allow my amazing players to introduce themselves and their new characters and what they want, what they desire, and where the heck can we find you on the internet too? Let's go ahead and start with Sean.
Hello. Hi, I'm Sean, the Kraken King, on Twitter, everywhere else. I just got blown up because I saw RJ gifting tier 1 throwing out subs left and right like they're candy. Thank you, RJ. I'm here whenever we're live. Like I said, I'm running Neon Souls tomorrow for our season 1 finale. Join us for that. And then I'll be back for the other game we're on Saturday. We're also introducing our characters right now, right? I didn't miss that part. Yes? Okay. And tonight, I'm playing, for the first time, Layrd Avalon Cross, the socialite, also the of the peerage background, and their desire is to drive the family that looks down on you to self-destruction and ruin.
Like you do.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Savvy.
It's me. Hello. I am Savvy. I'm at Savvy Seaworth on the internets. And as it has also been finale week for me, for at least the next month or so, I'm just here. I'm not anywhere else. I had, just so everyone knows how it's been going with me, a finale on Monday, and the game on Tuesday, and then a finale yesterday, and then a premiere today, and a season finale tomorrow. So I have no emotions left. I'm joking. It's gonna be great. But yes, for the foreseeable future, I'm a Game Nights exclusive again. And also I have this great wig. And it's all I care about.
Show everyone the wig. Just
Look,
turn. Just gives us some turns. Oh my god.
Anyway. Tonight, I am playing Jessamine Booker, the tutor. She is, as far as you're concerned, of humble origins. She works for the Cross family, and her desire is to restore your family name and resume your place in society.
Yes. RJ.
Hey everybody, I'm RJ on the interwebs, so you can catch me at rjustice282 on Twitter and Twitch, where I sometimes tweet about my life and play video games with my friends. You can catch me here next time on Saturday for Saturday Night's Apocalypse, right? Yeah, second session in for me. There's some undead illithid, and somebody's caught in the water there. It'll be fine. Also, you can catch me over at the Indoor Adventures channel on Monday nights, where I play a wizard who is also a Shatter Kai, and it's getting weird in the Feywild. Our paladin got eaten. She got ate. It was not great. Also, Sunday morning over at the Hype Goblins channel, where I play a sorcerer cleric, and he just wants to heal everyone. It's been a stressful week. And I also have no emotions left. But hey, today I'll be playing Jarvis Hawke. He's a careerist, and he is of ill repute. His desire is to receive proposals from or make successful proposals to at least 2 eligible houses. And when we mean houses, we mean the magical houses here in Bexley.
And last but not least, Alex.
Hello, I am Alex. OMG, it's some guy on the internet. I'm here Tuesdays, Thursdays, sometimes Saturdays, and then sometimes streaming on my own channel when I feel like it. Mostly Hades, probably a lot of Hades. But I'm about to be on winter break for 2 weeks, so maybe some more stuff over on this channel during the days. But yeah, tonight I am playing Mr. Bernard Sinclair, the new arrival. His desire is to enter into a marriage with someone who truly loves you without revealing your hidden wealth. So I'm going to be playing the American in this here English town. We'll see how that goes.
Or as we call him, Bernard. Yes,
Bernard.
It's going to be great. Bernard. So excited. Alrighty, we're gonna do a little bit of game housekeeping. If you did not get to catch our session 0 of world building and magic building, and basically creating our story setting from the ground up, please check that out. It is on the YouTubes, and it was so much fun. That was very thrilling, if in my opinion. So we won't go into too many specifics on that, but we do have a handful of things we needed to take care of, and we thought we would do it mostly on the air so y'all could be privy to it. The one major addition besides the magic that we're doing this season is along with that are the magical factions. They are sort of groups, ideals, ways of thinking about magic, and they, in and of themselves, kind of like our major characters, also have a reputation to maintain within our good society. But they also have some leaders, and they have desires as well, just like our major characters. So we do need to nail those down before we officially begin play. So to refresh anyone or those that have not seen it yet, we did pick 3 factions to include in our game so far. The first would be the College of Wizardry. It is sort of our status quo in society for magic and magic doing. They sort of represent, again, status quo. They are very officious. They believe magic is, done by, very strict learning and study. Again, college is in their name. We have the Auricular Matchmakers. They are those lovely busybodies who use oracles and telling the future through peering into into its depths and decide who would be the best match for each other to, connect in holy matrimony. We also have, third, last but not least, the Arcanum Populi, which is sort of a little homebrew that we put together from another faction. They are sort of a subversive underground faction that's trying to come on board, that believes less that the upper classes should have the most sway with magic, and that basically magic should be for the people. We had been discussing who might be the leaders of these factions, but I don't think we nailed anything down quite yet. So let's just go on through and let's hammer these out, shall we? For the College of Wizardry, I think we had talked about, or at least sort of landed on, potentially one of RJ's, let me see where you were. One of your connections seemed to make the most sense. One of Jarvis's connections. Professor Camilla Wilmore, since she kind of teaches at the university as well. Seems fair? We all game for that one? Okay.
Now, this person represents the person who is in charge of the faction, but isn't necessarily the only person in charge of the
exactly.
faction.
So they would be for game mechanic purposes, they would be the leader of the faction, which means they are, while they are leader, able to make decrees. Especially for the College of Wizardry, since they are, as our starting point, they are favored within society, and that means that they also are the authoritative faction. So any decrees that this particular faction makes are actually held up as law in society as well. Like they have the backing of the crown. So that one, professor is going to have a little bit of power there to start. But if we are okay with that, RJ, you said you maybe wanted to change her to headmistress?
I asked is it going to be Headmistress Camilla?
Totally up to you. She's yours.
No, she's going to be like
professor?
Probably professor, but she's up there in tenure.
I like it. Professor is the leader. Awesome. Well, their reputation is they are in good standing. And what's the desire of the College of Wizardry right now?
Probably to further magical studies. Unless there is a written thing that they need to do. Actions tab.
So the idea for the desires would be like a attainable goal, like an endpoint that they are striving for. So right now they're kind of like the status quo, you know what I mean? Like they're kind of where it's at already. So what going forward do they want?
This might at first seem like it might be more the matchmakers thing, but maybe
sure.
They are trying to discover new kinds of magic, and so they're actually trying to get people from different houses to sync up and cross-pollinate magical techniques.
Cross-pollinate, I love that. I mean, that actually sounds really good for the matchmakers. Like maybe they are. Oh, go ahead, Sean.
I was gonna add to what Alex was saying, or provide a counterpoint. Is that so we're looking at the Arcanum Populi is like trying to break the status quo, and the Calls of Wizardry trying to maintain the status quo.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So maybe their desire. I like that desire, and what Sid was saying was like for the matchmakers.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was thinking that maybe the college's desire should relate to their wanting to maintain the status quo, maybe by like quieting dissenters to their I don't know.
Ooh, okay, like quieting dissenters to the college by any means necessary.
So the College of
Yeah.
Wizardry is the magic police.
Yeah.
Kind
It is
of.
session 1, and you are already all setting me up to make this a murder mystery again. I've done it before.
I'll do it again.
I'll do it again.
No, I'm trying to set this up so we go full on Les Mis by the end of this, and we're all standing on a barricade in the middle of the street, waving a red flag.
Yes.
I mean, yeah,
Isn't everyone dead at that ending?
pretty much everybody. Yeah.
Spoilers.
Spoiler alert.
So maintain the status quo as a desire.
Maintain the status quo and standing of the college by any means necessary.
I like that because it
Cool.
gives a little more like impetus for action.
Dig it, I dig it, I dig it.
I like Alex's there for the auricular matchmakers though.
I do too, because
it's kind of creepy.
it is very creepy. And it's, again, they're, when people go to them, the expectation is that they are looking into the future and they are seeing who should, be together. But I mean, you don't read the future, so you don't know what the fuck's in that crystal ball. So.
Let's just say that you're paying someone to tell you the future you want.
Yeah, kind of. So their desire is to, so they want to delve into new types, new what of magic? Are we pulling out the thesaurus already?
New realms of magic.
Ooh, realms. There we go. New realms of magic by turning people in certain directions toward other houses, by
There's a word that I'm thinking of that
I know. By suggesting connections of certain houses, by
Manufacturing.
Yeah.
I like that because it's a teeny bit sinister.
yes.
Like manufacturing romantic connections between different houses.
Romantic connections between.
So like some of the stuff they're doing is BS. Like they're
Yes. It is for their own personal gain.
You know how rich people do.
Yeah, you know how they do. And then I feel like, yeah, the desire for the Arcanum is pretty straightforward. Basically what destroy. How do we phrase this nicely?
to subvert the magical aristocracy.
Subvert the magical aristocracy
And
and bring the power of Magicks to the people. Is the people capitalized? The people?
It's
Yeah,
like
let's
triple underscored.
People!
it's all caps.
People! Your wish is my command, y'all. Okay. People. Exclamation point. Okay. Lovely. All right. We've desired everybody. Yay! All right. So, College of Wizardry, good to go. They are at the highest standing right now. They've got their desire, and we have their ostensible leader. Arcanum Populi. Who's the leader, y'all? I know we had at least one or two of our major characters that might be, dipping their toes into that one in particular. Do we want to create a leader for that one? Are one of you the leader of that one?
Could it be a masked figure? No
Ooh.
one knows.
I'm okay with this. So I have 3 potential freebie people that I can create up from an NPC, and I can just make them like a connection of mine.
I like the idea of it being a mystery right now because that leaves a lot of open-endedness for later on.
Okay. So they are.
Should at least come up with a title for them, maybe.
They do need a title.
I keep trying to go to just like mythological creatures. It's like, no, those could just exist in society.
The proprietor. I'm trying to think of fancy words for like the manager.
See, that might be even too much like, oh, we're in charge of the people. So maybe something more like the advocate.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like that.
I like that better because
I like that. Advocate.
Don't want more bureaucracy.
We'll just say everyone errs on the. We'll go with they them because they haven't said otherwise. Age. Oh.
Who knows?
They have their face covered. What do they have their face covered with? I'm thinking we need like a really cool mask here.
It's one of those masquerade half masks that also attach to a veil for the bottom.
Ooh.
That's fancy and I love it.
Yeah.
Also, I've sussed it out. It's Morgan.
Shh, stop giving the plot points away. A masked figure. Half mask with a dark veil. Excellent. Okay, so the advocate is the leader of the Arcanum. Perfect. We're gonna have so much fun with this, you guys. So much fun.
And to give people an excuse to use their voice mod, they use magic to modulate their voice.
I need to get voice mod. I have Mac. I suck. I can't get voice mod on Mac yet. Okay.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Figure it out.
Now we just need. Ooh, this is perfect. As we make things for our magicking. Okay, we got Professor Wilmore. We've got the Advocate. Now we need for the matchmakers. Who runs the matchmakers? I had kind of thrown out the suggestion of perhaps Bernard's aunt, Ariana. We're kind of already setting her up to potentially be a bit of a busybody anyway, and that might make sense.
I like that.
Yeah.
Does that seem fair? Mrs. Ariana Sinclair? Excellent. Ariana Sinclair. And yeah, we had kind of set up at the beginning. So our good standing faction as of right now is the College of Wizardry. The very bad standing one would be the Arcanum Populi. And the matchmakers have a more neutral standing right now. Perfect. So with that, all three of these factions, they can declare a decree, which we'll get into once we get through some more cycles of play. But the only ones that will affect everyone will be the faction that has the very good standing, because they're the ones that are authoritative and can literally make laws. So no decrees right now. We'll get to that later. But I think we're all set to start our first novel chapter now. Okay. I need some more appropriate dancing music. Here we go. Yes. All right. So we begin our story on a rather brisk spring evening in Bexley. It is the annual fundraising gala for the local Witches Association, the Bexley Witches Association, or the BWA, as they like to call themselves. Everyone who's everyone is there, and they are in full swing. It's a bit of a sort of a garden party again, although it is a little chilly. So a lot of the participants of the gala are trying to make their way indoors now that the sun has set. But I believe all of our major characters are here. Some in more official capacities than others. Let's assume we've all already entered and made our way into the party itself. Where are we finding all of you? Here, I'll jump on one of you at random. Bernard, you are still fairly new to town, and I believe this is your very first major event.
Yes.
Since you have arrived in Bexley.
Mm-hmm. There has probably been, certainly at the start, he was out and about mingling, but as things are coming inside, his aunt has probably rounded him up and is trying to do proper introductions and, show off her nephew and, trying to use him somewhat as a pawn and like, oh, look at what my faction can do to help you. We've got this new American in town.
Oh boy. I also honestly feel like more folks are trying to make appointments with her and with the matchmakers now that there is fresh blood, fresh meat in town. See if any of their young people would make a good match with the mysterious Mr. Sinclair. Is he hanging out with his aunt? I'm sure she's trying to introduce him around, but is he by her side? Is he attending to her? Is he trying to get the hell away from her?
I think he had tried to get away, and that led to her using magic to stick his feet to the floor next to her.
No!
It's a subtle weaving. It's probably even actually like her, the soles of his shoes are kind of sewn into the floor for now.
I love this. Okay. I'm putting together who this person is. Okay. Let's say at this point that that particular weaving has worn off. So where does he go?
I think he's probably, as soon as he realized it was free, before she could do anything, just say, oh, I'm going to go fetch my dear old aunt some refreshments. She has been talking to all you wonderful people for so long. I'll be but a moment. And then Am straight over to the refreshments.
There's an audible "aw" as you walk away from this group. I'm sure that's quite a spectacle. Mr. Hawke.
He is currently hanging around Professor Wilmore, probably amused at Bernard's predicament. But as he sees him break off, he'll excuse himself from the professor. And if possible, he'd like to sink into the shadows and then like weave his way through the crowd to abduct Bernard.
Yeah, sure. I will say that this might be the use of a token for this particular form of magic. Ooh, we get to use our fun magic table for the first time. First one, friends. This one is up to you. Is this an instance of you are going to give a token, or is this an instance of you will be taking a token?
I think I will give a token to Bernard, who's being affected, correct?
Yes. So
I assume we
You
are
get
still
to
just
ask-
using resolve tokens. There's not a separate token pool of magic tokens.
no, yeah, these are still resolve tokens. So Bernard, you can take a token, and then you get to ask Mr. Hawke a question from our list here.
Oh, I need to find the list.
Okay, is that on the magical collaboration? Where
That
is
is, yes, the table of magic and magical collaboration. We have a lot of paperwork in this game. It's very similar to the Regency as well. Like, we don't have character sheets, we have an accounting sheet. It's great. So if you are taking a token, you're not taking a token, you're paying a token, then Bernard, you get to ask one of the questions from the left in the pay a resolve token.
this on the sheet?
To the left?
Which tab?
Oh, no, not on the accounting sheet. In the folder.
Yeah.
I'll read the
Okay.
questions for you. So the player that is the Magic's
Yeah, I
target
see.
gets to choose one of the questions for Mr. Hawke to answer. Who helps you and what do they demand of you? How does a faction take an interest in or an exception to your actions? How does an unintended side effect occur? Or what does the magic demand from you? Or what does it make you promise? Which one would you like Mr. Hawke to answer while casting this magic, Bernard?
First, I was thinking this would be the softball, but with the way the Hawk family does magic, this might actually not be. What does the magic demand from you, or what does it make you promise?
Ooh.
It's basically he has a small pen that's in his lapel that does not have ink in it. He has to nick his finger and then draw a line in the air that he can step into.
Ooh. So you pay in blood. Okay. I like it.
And then
The
there
one
is
you-
a ghastly shadow that appears behind Bernard as two hands.
So when you step through, do you basically portal over to me as a shadow, or does it just like you step through and it's like suddenly you're fuzzy?
I think it'd be a portal over to you using your own shadow.
So you are in, off to the side watching the room. There's dancing, there's frivolity. You literally step into a shadow, click your pen, nick yourself, and appear in a shadow behind Bernard.
Mrs.
That-
Sinclair.
Haha.
Oh, what the? Oh, you should really be just tossing around that kind of magic like that? You're gonna give a guy a heart attack.
Oh, pshaw. They've seen fireballs worse than this.
Suppose, but Mr. Hawke, what can I do for you?
It's not what you can do for me, but what I can do for you. Follow me.
So you noticed. Thank God. Okay, let's go.
Jarvis gets Bernard out of a snag. Jessamine.
Yes.
Do you see this? What are you up to? You're here in a bit of a different capacity than the rest of the group, I believe.
Yes.
If you want to go into that real quick.
Jessamine is here professionally. She was not invited, as she is the help. But she is the tutor to the young Miss Morgan Cross, who is not out in society yet and needs a chaperone. So, as her favorite teacher, maybe, probably her only teacher, she is here, sort of in an official capacity. So she is spending her time, probably entertaining, because Morgan's what, like 14?
Quite young.
So she's spending her time is sort of divided between entertaining a 14-year-old at a party that is meant for adults and staying on her good side, and also desperately avoiding Jarvis, I think, because they knew each other once upon a time.
That's right. They do have a
And,
history.
he knows her as a very different person. And she's also avoiding Avalon because they don't get along. So she's doing her best, but I think is it's mostly is spending time with Morgan and enjoying that sort of outside the classroom, actually spending time together, probably doing little prestidigitation tricks that she does, and letting her eat too many cookies because it's fine, it's party.
Oh, Miss Booker, what kind of magic is he using over there?
Oh dear. Well, that's a bit of what we would call conjuration. Starts to go into an explanation of how it works, and then realizes it's too much of an explanation.
Morgan's eyes
works
start rolling and crossing.
Sorry. Conjuration works in a couple of different ways. It's very fun if you can get a handle on it.
Right, well, I don't think my family does much of that. I mean, we mostly use our metals.
Right. Well, there's no harm in learning about different things.
So you'll teach me about conjuration?
If you would like.
I'll add it to the list.
Oh man. Well, because isn't Jessamine's like teaching like arithmetic. And this is like your math teacher being like, can you teach me how to make bombs? Sure, kid, why not?
Yeah, I like you, so absolutely. So Morgan, I think, is the only other character currently that knows that Jessamine can do any sort of magic outside of like, here's some little sparks. So
Can I spend a resolve token?
Yes.
immediately tried to ruin my life.
Guys, we're gonna hit the ground running here.
Yes, I'm all
we
about
know how to
it.
play the game now.
Exactly.
I don't think directly, but can I spend a resolve token to have somebody overhear this little exchange that might get back to the Baroness?
Interesting.
You about to make me fire myself?
No, but just some seeds of drama for later.
Sure. Jessamine, are we amenable to this?
Yes, absolutely.
Take a token. And who would it be? Let me see. Who could that be?
Because I was thinking just like one of the staff or somebody like that, but if you have an NPC in mind.
No one at the
That works
moment
too.
that would rat her out, I don't think. So yeah, we'll say it's the town. Obviously, this is a huge event. The local witches association is, a lot of different ladies and gentlemen and peoples in town. So yeah, one of the staff from the Cross Estate could most certainly have overheard this, and we'll say they bank it for later. They're not necessarily going to go run and tell Lady Cross right now, but maybe if they get to work late and they need a little fodder to bring themselves up in the household.
I'm in danger.
But it is noted, both for this. Sure, was that our first NPC? Who are you? Your name is Timothy.
I'm sorry, was that Dimothy or
Timothy. Sorry,
I
that
heard-
was an exhale.
Because I heard Jimothy.
Yes, his name is
Jimothy.
Jimothy. Jimothy works in the Cross Estate.
Oh, yes.
Oh, I thought you
Mr.
just said his
Jimothy
name.
Works.
Jimothy Works.
Yes, Jimothy Works. His name is Jimothy Works. Because why not? And Jimothy Works is employed at the Cross Estate.
You've given us too much power.
He's a butler at the Cross Estate.
Oh boy.
We really have hit the ground running, folks. I love it.
RJ's posed an interesting question that I would also like an answer to. Is Jimothy Works a romance option?
Basically anyone is, let's be
him
perfectly honest.
17 amulets in a row, and I get a +3 every time.
Oh, I adore it.
Y'all are probably making more timely references, but mine was a Dragon Age Origins reference.
Mhm.
Well, speaking of the crosses, Avalon, what are they up to?
Avalon is probably currently, I gotta dig into the socialite, probably with a crowd of people around her age that are probably like the up and coming heads of the families and whatnot, and Avalon's sort of at the center of all of this, in the middle of like a story right now, and is currently like enraptured and keeping everybody's focus on them, and they finish the story, and you can still see just the faintest bit of purple behind the ears. I don't think it's quite worn off yet, if you happen to pass them later tonight. But yes, that's why you should probably be very careful when using the Arcanum in such a way. Oh, Latricia, I meant to ask you, have you met our new arrival yet?
I don't believe I have.
The American, Mr. Sinclair?
Yes. No, I've seen him, but I have not met him.
If he'll stand out. I mean, they tend to.
Yes.
But he's a very good friend of mine. If you see him, bring him this way.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yes, I believe he's right over there with the hawk.
Oh. Huh. Peculiar. Perhaps I'll wait a moment then. I'd hate for my mother to see me carousing with one of the hawks. I'll get an earful for the next 3 nights.
Oh, he's rather adorable. The American, not the hawk.
Right. Well, you should hear stories of what it's like over there in the... We're still calling them the colonies?
Yeah. I'm honestly... correct me if I'm wrong, any of our friends from the UK, pretty sure there are some people over in the UK currently that still call it the colonies.
Still call it the colonies.
You know, over there in the dumpster fire.
Yes.
You should hear their opinions on some things. It's quite scandalous.
Really?
Enough to make any of the grand mages at the college, make their beards fall out.
He gets more exciting by the minute.
Well, I'm quite parched. Excuse me for a moment.
Of course.
And Avalon will lead off to find a drink, and also keeping an eye on Morrigan, and seeing if she and Jessamine actually will probably just find a drink from a near server, one of the staff, and then wander his way past Morgan and Jessamine.
What are Morgan and Jessamine talking about?
So we've got arithmetic in the morning, then writing in the afternoon, and then oh, hello, Valley. Come to say hello.
My dear sister, it is far too late for you to be worrying about your studies. Is she boring you? Do I need to rescue you?
Who was that directed at?
That was at Jessamine, boring.
I assume he's calling me
Morgan.
boring.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I mean, it's just, I don't know what I would do at this party. I mean, everyone is much too old, and,
Morgan likes to
have you-
keep a good handle on her schedule, and I think that's admirable.
Right. With a math and her reading. I'm sure
Yes.
she's quite proficient in these subjects. Have you had a dance yet?
No, is there anyone who would dance with me?
Well, I'm your older sibling, of course. Please.
Miss Booker, if you'll excuse us, I believe I have a dance.
Have fun.
Avalon does not even, acknowledge that Jessamine is there. Just takes Morgan and begins to lead them away.
A rousing number starts up out of nowhere. Huh, weird. As Avalon takes Morgan to the dance floor.
Mhm.
And
Jessamine
you are
goes to get a drink. She probably hasn't yet.
as Jessamine runs away from her duties right now, as she's been relieved of them. Yes.
Avalon has wears a lot of, as most of the Cross family does, probably maybe except for Morgan at this point, wears a lot of jewelry and has several very large, heavy silver rings, and she sort of rubs one of them, and you can see it grow just slightly more tarnished as Morgan suddenly finds herself weighing almost floating in the air, and so they can dance face to face. So she's sort of hovering a little bit off the ground. I don't know if I have to use a resolve token for that or if that's casual enough.
That's super casual. I love it. Mr. Hawke, where have you stolen Mr. Sinclair away to?
To the drink table.
Oh, of course.
They are at least 1 or 2 cups in, and he is regaling Mr. Sinclair with a story. And so there I was in the lab, and he just walks in, no protection, grabs a beaker, downs it, turns to his friend and says, "It's perfume."
And did you happen to find out what color his shits were the rest of the week?
Green.
Ooh, that's, man, we do some things over in America, but they're still basic safety.
Well, some of the youngest students, they come in thinking they're the, what do you Americans say? The talk of the town?
Something like that, yeah.
And they get too big for their britches, and they think they're invulnerable to the consequences of magic, and then poof, you lose 1 or 2 fingers, and suddenly, safety, safety, safety.
Huh, that's one way to get the first law drilled into you.
Mm.
So, how have your experiments been going? Or do you not want to talk? You just want to stick with the fun stuff at the academy?
I'm quite stumped, honestly, on this one bit. I can't talk about it right now. It's a bit of a secret. But when things come to more fruition, maybe you can come around and give me some of your generalized expertise. I think that would actually come in handy.
Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, you guys are all pretty good at your magic, but it also, you get so set into just the ways of thinking of how to do one kind of magic that you just completely ignore all the possibilities. I understand why we beat you all in the war. Kind of giving him a shit-eating grin.
Ooh, I think there might be one starting here with those kind of comments, sir.
It's
What do you Southerners say? Them's doolin' words?
something like that, but I'm also a Yankee, I'll have you know.
Oh, sorry. Colonies are colonies in my book.
I'd like to spend a resolve token.
Sure.
Is it for me
And
to
so
be
this is
offended as a southerner?
Oh no, I was about to say I
Those
think it's
fat
about
words.
that time that it was fat words. I think that's about enough time for Jessamine to have made her way over to that particular drinks table, unawares of who was there. Yeah?
Put me in danger.
Do you mind if I put you in danger there, Jessamine?
Give me the tokens. I need them to live.
Take the tokens. So what happens when these two gentlemen are in rapid conversation and I literally want her to walk like right behind Mr. Sinclair and just straight shot to the eye line of Mr. Hawke.
Are Jarvis and Jessamine on first name basis?
I think they would have been. Yeah, I think they worked together a lot previously.
Jessamine?
Do you two know each other? I mean, I suppose most of you all know each other here. You live in the same town, but
Yes, we
No.
were. No.
You must have me confused with someone else.
Oh, I'm sorry. You just look like an associate of mine that I knew a very long time ago.
I can't imagine that's true.
Oh, but excuse me, ma'am, for disturbing your peace.
Quite all right. Pardon me. Runs away.
Eyes follow her through the crowd.
I don't need any kind of truth-telling spell to know that at least one of you is something's fishy there. But if it's not my place, that's fine.
I don't even think it's my place right now. Interesting.
You're so caught up in your gossip and your drama here. If back where I'm from, it gets to be too much drama. You just ride a horse west for a day or two, and that just takes care of that. A lot less. Can't come up with a good turn of phrase right now, but keeps us from being at each other's throats all the dang time.
Oh, but where's the fun in that?
Less people blowing up.
I will concede to that, sir. Your wine glass is empty, and he'll
So it
pour
is.
another.
I think they get back to talking about, when he could use Bernard's generalist help with magic later.
Fair enough. Avalon, you've had your lovely dance with your lovely sibling. Where do you go from there?
How much would it take for Avalon to get somebody to intervene with what's going on with Bernard and Jarvis to try to get to try to get Jarvis's attention, to pull them away?
I don't think that would be too hard.
Okay. I think we'll try to do that. Manipulating somebody, and I was trying to think because I just named the one person. I don't want to pick on Lucretia.
Was it Lucretia? I heard Leticia, but Lucretia. I'm trying to keep track of my NPCs here. Lucretia?
I don't know. I said something.
You said Letitia the first time.
Letitia? All right, we'll go with Letitia for that one.
Okay.
Lucretia is her sister.
Great. Lucretia. I don't think you have to manipulate. You do realize that you can just have friends too that will go and interrupt someone at a party for
But
you.
Sid, magic.
No friends, only pawns. Yeah, no. I think, I think these are friends of. I think it's maybe Lucretia and Letitia are friends of Avalon's, and
Are we going straight Adam's family? Are they conjoined twins too? Is this
they are psychically connected.
I like it.
They share thoughts, so they often are saying the same thing at the same time. That's sort of creepy.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Come play with us, Valley, forever and ever.
Except they're
Excellent.
20 something now, so they don't do the creepy thing
Yeah.
anymore. But yeah, it's so he Avalon just says, I do need a favor from the two of you. I know it doesn't sound very appealing, but I would like a brief word with a friend of mine who looks to be detained by Mr. Hawke over there. Do you think you can help me with that?
They sort of look at each other and say, Lucretia says, of course, we can. And then Leticia says, easily do that. They sort of look at each other, look at you, and then sort of split and walk.
I love them. I love them.
Mr. Hawke, Mr. Sinclair, in the middle of your conversation, you see, essentially the same woman, two identical women. I'm gonna like go full twins here. They are dressed in the exact same attire, just two different colors. And one takes one side of Mr. Sinclair's one arm, and then one takes the other arm, and says, hello, gentlemen. How are we this evening? Mr. Sinclair, we were hoping to get your opinion on the splendid array of, and then Lucretia goes into, yes, those particular geraniums over there, aren't they just, Leticia, splendid? And without giving you the option, they just sort of walk you outside away from Mr. Hawke.
Well, geraniums can be used in floromancy for it starts going into that explanation. But I have been kidnapped.
You've
apparently.
been kidnapped by two
Unknowingly,
beguiling
I've
twins.
been kidnapped.
When they've taken Bernard a suitable distance away, Avalon will step in and just say, Bernard, I didn't realize you were going to be at this event.
Oh, Laird Cross. I'm here. Are the twins still here, or have they relinquished me at this point?
I think it just looks. Leticia, Lucretia, thank you very much. I wish to have a private conversation with my friend here.
Ta-ta. They walk away arm in arm.
Ma'am. Oh, so yeah. I'm here. I was in town. I thought I sent you a note that this would be my first, big event of the season. But
I have so much post. I have so much post sitting on my desk that I haven't read through. And please drop the Laird here. I've had enough people brown nosing all night. I need just a moment alone, or to myself here. Please, and gestures to walk outside on the veranda to get out of the main room.
Sure.
How are you finding the night's event?
Oh, it's my aunt's trying to do what she does. She's in full matchmaker mode tonight, which understandable because it's it's what you do here. But I was hoping to be able to hang out with Aunt Ariane instead of Madame Sinclair. But
right, I felt her poking at my warding all night, trying to get me and incentivize me to speak to one person or another. It's
she does
frustrating.
Thankfully, it's not as effective against, members of the family. Otherwise, she'd probably have me on puppet strings talking to everyone at the party.
Can only imagine. I saw you speaking with Mr. Hawke.
Oh, yeah. Bumped into him a couple times in town, mostly at the tavern.
Really? You should be careful there. Are you long-term friends who've known each other for a while?
No, only just met him, this trip.
Are you aware of the family's reputation around town?
My aunt has hinted at it, but she also has, basically just, practically spit anytime the Hawks come up, but,
right.
It doesn't seem too bad from what I've seen.
Well, good. I don't have much experience with this particular Hawk myself, but just be careful. Word travels fast around town, and if you're looking to make connections with suitable company, that can prove to be a hindrance. Again, your choice. Sure, being the American in town, you have plenty of people looking to have your ear about all sorts of things.
Sure, and thank you for the advice, but I'm not such a bumbling American as everyone seems to think. I know I can certainly use that to my advantage, and I can see how Mr. Hawke is, and I can talk to anyone, and I'll just be, oh, I'm sorry, I'm too much of a Yankee to know what's going on here.
No, I've known you long enough to know that that's not the case. Sorry, being overly worried.
I appreciate it.
Speaking of which, that matter that we discussed the other week,
Yes.
There's potentially going to be a meeting of sorts. Are you interested in attending?
Yeah, definitely.
I'd be interested in you sharing your opinions on certain topics in polite company.
Not hopefully the company's polite, but I don't think this company would find it polite. But yeah, no, I'm definitely interested.
Good. Anyway, how's everything else? It just sort of devolves into like polite conversation on any other topics or anything.
I would like to spend a resolve token. May I?
Yes.
By all means, it's your game.
Interrupting her. I would like for Ms. Booker, who we did agree was the local tavern tender of bar. I'm gonna say that y'all wandered over during your conversation, and I would like for her to be utilizing her magic to sort of magically record your conversation. So I'm going to pull from the magic table.
Is this more affecting, would this be Avalon or...
This would be more affecting Avalon, I believe, because I think her main draw is you discussing this potential meeting next week.
Okay. Which I just made up. I hope that's okay.
Yup, totally.
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna get mad that you make something up in this game. Come on.
All right, good.
The best
I want
thing
no
in
one
the
to think
world-
that I...
The best thing in the
Plan
world is
that
when
out.
the DM goes,
Yeah. I want no one in the world to think that I planned that out or ran that past it in any way. That was a terrible thing for me to do on my end.
It's literally what this game is about. Are you kidding me? I love it.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Okay, so
Do I need to ask a question from the
yes.
list for magic?
So
Okay.
I would say that Ms. Booker is going to pay a token in this one. So she would give you a token. You can take
Okay.
it. Take one of hers away. And you get to ask her a question off the table.
I think I'm going to go with just the unintended side effect because they're. I think that's going to be the most interesting here.
Okay. The unintended. Ooh, I like this. Okay. The unintended side effect is that in this sort of like recording process, she accidentally takes on Bernard's voice. So in this recording process of like magically recording the two voices, she for a period of time is going to accidentally be speaking like the Yankee.
Okay. And I'm assuming that that Heidi is not somebody that Avalon would know. She's just okay.
She is the local bartender, so you might know her in that regard.
I mean, I think I just established that Bernard certainly knows her.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So she goes about this. You guys are a little further off, but like she's close enough that she can mostly hear you, but she sort of sends a mote of magic over to record the conversation. The mote, just to her, not to the rest of you, sort of floats back, sort of envelops into her. I like the idea that she burps a little bit because I just did as that goes back in. And then she turns to her next patron and says, "All right, what can I get you?" I'm sorry. What can I get you? What can I get you? And just goes with it. They look at her rather strangely. And she continues on sending bar. She's got that in her little magical back pocket. Any other shenanigans for the evening?
If we're bringing in NPCs and stuff, I need to just go ahead and do this because I got to explore this relationship. Can I spend a token for... hold on. Remember, trying to get all these names straight in my head. Jarvis.
Yes.
Your family does... What's the type? Is it shadow magic? Is like the flavor? Is it blood magic or?
I kind of wanted to say that they use the stolen implements of different wizards or mages.
Okay.
Sorry.
So it more depends on the magical artifact that they're using to cast the magic.
Right.
Okay.
Ooh. I want to spend a token to have your brother cast a spell to contact you at this moment that he wants to talk briefly. Because I don't imagine... we haven't gotten a lot of how your brother fits into society and all of that. Just that he's older.
I imagine it's a conversation where it happens. Jarvis walks out to another part of the veranda, leans against the railing there, and his brother would be underneath, talking up to him.
So is this
I don't know.
Is this something where we need to spend magic?
Well, I was gonna say it was magic, casting a spell to communicate with them to meet me outside. I was thinking either something like a small familiar showing up, or it becomes carved into his arm or something like that. But if it's just hey, meet me outside.
Those are very different scenarios. I just want to point that out.
Just
on
outside on his forearm.
Outside.
This shadowy figure shows up and talks to him in a cute voice, or just words are carved into his arm.
Just in the background of the
two.
party, we just see Slender Man.
Well, I
And
mean,
that's also conjuration magic, my dear.
Because I wanted to clarify that is your brother a flat out criminal? Okay, is not be in any way
polite society.
Yeah.
Jarvis
Okay.
is only here because the professor will vouch for him.
I would say yes. I will say if you want to spend a token of what is our brother's name? The other Mr. Hawke. Zachary.
Zachary.
If you want to spend one of Zachary's tokens, and then this would directly affect Jarvis. So Jarvis, you can either take the token, or maybe it doesn't go as intended, and you could pick something else.
I'm gonna take the
It's
token.
definitely gonna be the carving in his arm that is gonna be the spell. I'd have to go with that. I said.
Oh
it at this point.
no!
Yum.
Shitty older brother. It doesn't last long, but it does hurt.
You know what? That answers how does an unintended side effect occur, and that's that unintended side effect. Oh, he has to carve it into his own arm too.
Yeah. It's like a blood bond between them, and so he carves it into his arm and it appears in your arm. And I think the
Some
unintended
shit right here. Sorry.
Yeah.
Pop sitting on the can outside. What does that mean?
I mean, unintended side effect being that that is a visible like wound on your arm for the rest of the night, probably.
Jarvis, you feel a painful tingling on your inner forearm.
He will look left, right, see if anyone notices, kind of pull his sleeve down and read the message.
What's it say, Zachary?
Outside.
Pull down your sleeve, try not to get blood on your silks.
Just lean up against that railing. Zachary.
And I imagine it's like not a very high railing. It's like a small little like balcony that's maybe like 8 feet up off the ground. And so he's like down in like the hedges down there and has like a hood pulled up, and like drops it back. And do you have like a visual in mind for your brother here, or?
I mean, it would probably look like an older Jarvis, but more scarred up.
Okay.
This seems like the most appropriate one for two brothers carving words into their arms. Continue, sorry.
He goes, "Hello, brother.
What do I owe?
Fancy party."
Yes, well, I have to save face and go with the professor. If she asks me, what do I owe the pleasure?
I was in the neighborhood.
Would you like a couple of pence so that you can go out on the town?
Wouldn't mind.
There is a small sack that is dropped behind him.
He doesn't bend down to pick it up. Yeah, he just kind of notes it on the ground and says, "Thank you. Got anything else for me?"
Not yet. I'm currently working on a few things. But you can tell the family that everything's proceeding as according to plan.
Good to hear. It's going a bit slower than we wanted.
Well, you know how Mum likes it, a good slow burn.
Yeah. Pop's not too happy about it, though.
Well, you can tell him that he needs to... Oh, what does Bernard say? Simmer down.
Right. Just don't get too caught up in your books. Alright? Got your head in the clouds. Need to come back down.
Oh, if anything, the Hawk name is a great shackle.
Good to hear we're good for something, then. Finally reaches down, picks up the sack, kind of weighs it a little bit. Right, then. Let me know if you got anything else for me. I'll be in town.
There's no response. When Zachary leaves, Jarvis like kind of rubs his arm and just mutters, "Asshole."
Does he head back inside?
He's gonna fume for a bit and then head back inside.
That's very fair. Bernard, how are the twins?
Yeah, I guess would they have come back after a set amount of time and tried to steal him away from Avalon?
I figured getting him away from Avalon was like their favor, so I think they're going to do whatever they want with Mr. Sinclair at this point. That's just me.
Yeah, I think after like there's probably a little bit of conversation and they end up coming back and maybe the four of them talk for a little bit before Avalon looks up at the time or like no, see, we have clocks, right? Do we have clocks?
There are clocks, yes.
I don't know the level of technology we have.
We have clocks, yes.
Okay, just making sure. Don't Don't give me that look. Yeah, it looks up at the grandfather clock in the main hall and sees the time and notices that their sister is still out and excuses, says, Bernard, I leave you with my charming friends here. If you need help, just scream. I need to deal with my sister for a moment to make sure that she is accompanied back to the manor.
Of course, Avalon, don't worry, says Letitia, and then Lucretia says, we'll take very good care of him. And don't you worry, Mr. Sinclair. If you need to, Letitia says, scream very loudly. And they both laugh in unison.
Are these twins? I'm imagining there's some kind of supernatural creature, and I'm just trying to figure out what kind of creature they are.
They can be if you want them to be. Psh, I don't care. Who are they? We made them up 15 minutes ago. What are they?
Yeah. I don't know. Feels too on the nose to have them be vampire twins, but also I can't think of a better fit right now.
Are they fae? I mean, they could be like, unseelie court fae. I'm down for that.
I do like that. Because I was imagining that they're probably daughters of one of the other major houses of the area.
They could be half fae too. I mean, we are magical creatures. And let's not forget, just setting the scene here too, there are centaurs in the corner, speaking about politics. We have a couple of Bigfoot creatures here and there dancing. Some are among the high society. Some are also helping to serve food and drinks. We have a plethora of magical creatures about as well.
Now, chat says banshees.
Oh.
And I'm very interested in the idea of humanizing banshees a little bit.
Ooh, like a more corporeal version of banshees.
Interesting.
Banshees is some sort of fae or monstrous creature. I do like that.
It makes this scream very loudly joke doubly funny.
Yes.
It really does. Oh, I mean, I'm down for that. So, I mean, they are corporeal, but they do have just sort of an almost incorporeal, slightly ethereal feel to them when they're walking around. And I don't know, maybe that big old scream will come into play. You please give me a horrific life-ending scream in my back pocket. Sure, I'm down for that.
Well, they're half banshees, so for them, not fully life-ending.
Debilitating scream. Got it. Cool.
But the two of them scream, that's a full banshee.
There you go.
Big fan, love it.
Like I said, enjoy yourself. Be careful. It kind of gives a very look I'm sorry about this before excusing themselves.
Right. It was Lucretia Letitia or Letitia Lucretia?
You'll get it one day, darling. I'm Lucretia and I'm Leticia.
Right. I'll do my best, but you'll have to forgive me if I have trouble keeping both your pretty faces straight in my head.
Don't worry. We're used to sharing everything.
Well then, shall I get us some drinks? And don't worry, I can make sure there's enough to go around, that there's plenty to share.
Please, they say in unison.
So gonna attend to these two ladies until something else may come up, but
I just want to sing Chicago now. Two ladies. Avalon, are you going to escort Morgan home?
Yeah, we could probably do a short scene of it comes back up to where Morgan is, I assume, back with because would have left her back with Jessamine as her escort, and approaches sort of pointedly looking at the time and says, "Now, Morgan, it's a bit late for you to still be here, don't you think?"
oh, but Valley, I wanted to have another dance.
Right. Well, there'll be plenty of time for that at the next event, which I'm sure will be far too soon. But I'm sure Jessamine should be seeing you home.
Oh, yes, I suppose. I'm sorry, Miss Booker. I imagine you wanted to stay and talk with more adults, but you were, keeping an eye on me.
It's quite all right, darling.
All right. I'll see you at home, Valley. Don't stay out too late. You know Mother doesn't like you doing that.
Right. If it's not too much of an imposition, Miss Booker.
Of course not, Your Honor.
Certainly. Make sure you put away all your books before heading to bed. You know how Mother becomes cross when you leave them lying about the house.
But I like reading.
Right.
I can assure you, Laird Cross, everything will be tidy to your mother's specifications.
Excellent. Thank you, Miss Booker.
Well then,
Well,
young Lady Cross, perhaps we should make our way ever so slowly towards home.
Might we make our way past the sweets table?
I don't see why not.
Snags one more cookie on the way out.
Because Jessamine wants to have one conversation before they leave.
And sorry, I'm not meaning to get your character out of this thing so soon. Whoops.
you just told her to, doesn't mean she has to.
Yeah, you don't know.
Morgan is, I'm assuming, quite entranced by the sweets table. Some of these sweets, too, if I may say, are rather extraordinary. Some of them seem to bubble with, multicolored bubbles that sort of float off of them. Some of them themselves are floating off of their plates. There's a lot of fun food and beverages at this party.
I think maybe Morgan, struck by a sudden thought, is going to grab a plate and put it over as many of the floating treats as she can and see if they will be able to lift her up. But I imagine this will take some time for her to complete this task if Miss Booker wants to do something in this time.
Seems like Morgan is thoroughly ensconced at the sweets table for the moment. Jessamine, who did you want to talk to?
Jarvis. So, as she's like keeping an eye on Morgan, like it's not gonna stray too far, but is looking around, sort of watching, always watching, for where Jarvis is, and I think probably like sees him up on the veranda at one point. So it's going to, off of one of the like hedges or bushes or something, sort of pluck a large flower, hold it between her hands and transmute it into a little like a little like origami style bird that has a little note inside, and send it up to him. And then unfolded, it just says, "Statue Garden." Quietly.
All right. You're muted.
Jarvis. I meant to do that. No. Sorry. Pro stringer. Jarvis.
He will head in, find the professor, tell him that he's excusing himself for the night.
Well, if you must.
I will see you bright and early tomorrow morning, Professor.
Yes, you shall. If you are there any later than the sunrise, you know there will be extra work to do.
And oh, how we love our extra work.
Indeed.
Mom.
Good night.
Good night, Mom. And he will head over to the statue garden as surreptitiously as possible.
Where he finds
for me. Mr. Hawke.
Miss Anonymous.
Must you be immediately so full of drama?
Well, after you disappeared for a length of time and suddenly reappeared in my life at court, mind you, claiming to not be who you are, of course there's going to be a little bit of drama.
It's a long story.
One that I hope you can say over drinks.
I would like that. Here, I am Jessamine Booker.
Good evening, Miss Booker.
I hope I can trust you in this situation.
As someone who comes from the family they do, keeping secrets is one of my better skills.
All right. I just simply didn't want to leave you with a no, I have no idea who you are, and then a disappearance. Felt rude.
I'm glad that one thing hasn't changed about you,
My manners.
for the most part.
What are you doing here?
The professor invited me to come, and to save face, I decided yes, I should attend.
Fair enough.
If you are planning to stick around, I advise staying away from the college.
I was afraid you'd say that. I work for the Crosses now.
Oh. Fancy that. Magic? Or...
No. Nothing of the sort. Layrd Cross has no idea I'm capable of anything of minor prestidigitation. I tutor his sister.
Well, careful, she's a sharp one.
Incredibly.
If you need me for anything, you know where I stay.
I do. And drinks. This week. My cousin's the bartender.
Oh, Brooke. There's a moment of adding in his head. Does she know about your subterfuge, or...
Yes, quite. The only other one. So, if anything gets out, I know who's done it.
I solemnly swear to make sure your secret does not get out, lest you transmogrify me into some toad.
Oh, that would be ever so kind of me.
And I do hope that hasn't changed either.
Can I maybe spend a resolve token here? This may be more if we were more in the world of the Fae.
Please.
But I kind of want there to be like an actual magical consequence to an oath that can be given in such a circumstance. So I don't know if Jessamine would push for that, or if just with Jarvis saying, you know, I solemnly swear, blah, 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 that there is actually like a magic that happens to him saying, I won't reveal your secret.
Ooh. I'm open to this. I'm just wondering who spends the token.
Or who gets the token.
And who
'cause
gets
I'm willing
it.
to spend it. I would imagine that RJ would get it because it's his character making the oath and therefore would suffer the consequences if it were broken.
Okay. I'm down for that. That sounds dope.
Give me token, please.
Yeah. Okay. So since you're
Jessamine
getting
will
it,
point it out then.
I missed what you said, Savvy.
Oh, I said I think Jessamine will point out. You swear. Dangerous words in these parts.
Well, if you do feel so inclined, maybe a formal arrangement.
I do.
Jarvis will pull out a piece of folded stationery and that fountain pen. He clicks it twice and then writes a contract saying that he solemnly swears not to reveal Jessamine's true identity until which time she says it's okay.
Very kind of you, Mr. Hawke. I accept.
Sign here, please.
I have an interesting twist to this, if I may. We're messing with everything tonight. It makes me happy. We haven't played with the other end of the table, which is that the magic can have a significant drawback or complication. I feel like swearing not to reveal something pretty much lines up with could potentially have a significant drawback or complication. You want to have some fun?
Let's do it.
Yeah. All right. I will say then. Hey, Alex.
Yes.
Why don't you choose off this list?
Okay, so for the folks at home, the options are: how do you hurt someone important to you? How do you earn the enmity or hatred of a faction? What significant sacrifice do you make to cast this magic? How does the magic consume or possess you, and how does it linger inside you afterwards? How does this act of magic go disastrously out of control? And how is the effect of this act of magic completely different to that intended?
I just gave you so much firepower, RJ.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of saw out of the corner of my eye how Sid reacted to how does the magic consumer possess you and how does it linger inside you afterwards. And that seems pretty fitting for swearing an oath.
The piece of paper folds up and dissolves in his hand a black smoke that falls downward and wraps around his throat, forming a black ring tattoo before it slowly fades away. And to test it, he says, "Your name is Jessamine and as he's about to say her last name, he begins to choke.
Well, by far one of the most interesting experiments we've done.
Not the intended outcome, but as long as you're happy.
Very. It's nice to see you again.
It's nice that you're around again.
I should go. I have a 14-year-old who has been let loose on a sweets table.
Miss Booker, I'm flying!
Godspeed.
She might actually be flying. I'll see you soon, Jarvis. Good drinks.
He will nod his head.
Got in all the fizzy lifting drinks.
Yep.
You stole fizzy lifting drinks!
Good day, sir. As Jessamine runs in to grab Morgan's ankles before she heads to the very tall ceiling of this ballroom, are there any other shenanigans that we wanted to get to this evening? Or are we maybe ready to close this novel chapter and take a break? Yeah? I think we're off to a grand start, my friends, if I may say so myself. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back for our first round through of the cycle of play. We get faction stuff, we get all this fun stuff. It's gonna be great. Stick around. We'll be right back. And welcome back, Internet. Thank you so much for sticking around with us as we did a bit of a bio break, a refresher break. Hope you grabbed a drink. Hope you grabbed some snacks. I did both. I don't have Dr. Pepper today. I couldn't get it at the convenience store, so go kiddos. But it's helping with the headache. It's good. Yeah, Advil and caffeine is the poor woman's Excedrin because I ran out. Anyway, thank you for sticking around. And that was our first novel chapter of this game. For those of you that may not be completely familiar with the way that good society works, we go through play cycles. They include various steps, rounds, if you will. One of the most obvious ones would be the novel chapters. That's where the majority of the action happens. But we also have some other steps. One of our favorites, I think, is Rumor and Scandal. We also have Epistolary, where we write letters to each other and cook up shenanigans. But next on our agenda is Reputation. So, if my lovely major characters could pull out their family background sheets and their character sheets, and we'll explore some reputation from that last novel chapter. Why don't we go across the board, if you will? I'll start with you, Sean. Not to pick on you, but let's do reputation, shall we?
All right. So looking over the peerage.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think if either of them, if I got a positive or a negative. Because I don't think they made a sacrifice at any point during that.
Let's see.
And I don't think they suffered any hardship or compromised their desires. It's a pretty neutral series of conversations.
Cerebral hardship.
The only thing I can think of is maybe a negative tag for allowing others of lesser rank to talk down to you, but I don't think, I mean, Bernard never really talked down on, it was just talked as like an equal.
Yeah, I don't think you seem to talk down to you or treat you inferior. No.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean that could be a neutral round for sure.
Yeah, I think it was a pretty neutral round. I can't think of anything that I would gain or lose from that.
Cool. I'm down for that. Excellent. I believe Savvy's up next.
That's me.
What you think?
I'm gonna make an argument for a positive tag.
And what is that?
For the Humble Origins.
Mm-hmm.
To a degree, sacrifice or denied your own desires to please someone of a higher rank.
You did kind of have to leave the party a lot earlier than you wanted to.
In which she didn't really get to participate and had to get anything done or to talk to anybody, had to sort of make a lot of effort and a big deal about it and also not be seen, which she succeeded in doing so. So I'm going to say...
Crafty.
Obliging.
Well, I was gonna say compliant.
Prudent.
Prudent. I don't know if prudent is 100% what I'm going for. Or close.
Thesaurus!
Thesaurus.com!
Thesaurus.com, a future sponsor of this show. I say that every time, and eventually it will be true.
Because I'm thinking like something like compliant,
Judicious.
but not...
Shrewd.
Oh, shrewd is kind of fun.
Canny. Tactical. Discerning.
Otacon.
Let's see.
I like discerning in the sort of energy, the combined energy of compliant and crafty, which I think is discerning in the I'm going to choose to
Picking your battles.
just do what you're telling me to do right now, because it's not.
I like it. Do it. Sweet. So you have a second positive tag. Excellent. Those positive tags are super helpful.
And
I
this
believe-
time we'll remember to spend them.
Please spend them. Please spend them. RJ,
I'm gonna argue for a negative tag.
are you now?
Yeah.
So,
Let's see. Acted in contravention of society's conventions. You don't use magic to abduct someone during a party.
Now, if you are just going for your negative tag, then you do you. But I could also see the argument that it didn't really have any negative
Impacts.
social ramifications. No one got upset about it. Like Mr. Sinclair seemed cool with it.
I don't know. Is Bernard a tattletale?
Bernard, are you a tattletale?
Are you a snitch?
Straight up, true
Bernard,
question.
you
Ask the
snitch?
Serious
twins.
question.
Hey!
But
I'm gonna take that as probably not. So, so yeah, like I could argue that was fine. Nothing bad happened.
I mean, it's also Mr. Sinclair hanging out with a hawk. And Jarvis knows this. To drag his name down by hanging out with him.
Did he do it on purpose?
It was a pretty big show of magic.
I guess was the intent to sully Bernard's name with hanging out with the hawk, or is that a side effect?
Or was that just like side effect?
Yeah. He just wanted to get Bernard out of there.
I mean, from what I'm seeing, I'm actually seeing a pretty neutral. Because, yeah, you didn't really compromise any of your desires either way, really.
It's still the first chapter. We got this.
You got time. You got time.
We got time.
But I mean, if you really want to strongly push where you think you did a negative, then
We'll hold off on it.
okay.
We'll hold off on it.
Okay. All right. We'll go neutral for now. Speaking of Mr. Sinclair, what do you think? What do you think of your showing at the gala, Mr. Sinclair?
Oops, that's my desk settling. I think there's a slight negative, maybe, because there's acted in contravention of society's conventions, and just with he did, get suckered into, being Aunt Sinclair's plaything for a little while, but then was able to escape and go have fun. But he also he wasn't pursued by her again the rest of the evening, so he may have done his due diligence already. So it might just be another neutral for him.
Act in a service of duty or morality with compromised desires. Made a sacrifice or denied your own desires to uphold the values of your place of origin. That one's interesting.
That could definitely think that and acting in a way that would shame or embarrass your place of origin will definitely come into play later, but I don't know that there was anything about that this time.
No, I think it's kind of neutral too. It seems like so much happened there, but it also didn't. You wily ones, all of you, sneaking around. All right. Okay. Excellent. So that's the major characters. All right, now we get to have some fun with the factions. So, adjusting faction influence. So again, our factions also have reputation. So we get to put that into play as well. Let me pull this up here. To be perfectly honest, I don't know that all of the factions really even came into play, but let's see what we get. So for our lovely, lovely factions. 217. All right. Our leaders. Well, 2 of our leaders at least, or maybe 3. Who knows? Wahaha. Were present at the gala. Maybe the advocate was there, maybe they weren't. I don't know. And the way that we determine this for their influence, they have their levels. So at the start, we started with the College of Wizardry would be at the highest possible level, which is a +4. So they're in that authoritative territory. The Arcanum Populi is at the very opposite end of the spectrum with a -4. So they are reviled currently and disgraced. And then our Auricular Matchmakers are right there in the middle at a 0. They're at a neutral. So moving around on that spectrum, let's tally up what happened in this novel chapter. Let's see. So this is page 217 in the expansion, if anyone's following along at home. But I can read this out for everybody. So for each positive reputation tag gained by a faction member, be a +1. I don't believe that any of our official members, if anything, gained a positive or negative tag. I think our only official member of a faction had, did Avalon officially, are you officially part of the Arcanum?
Yeah, I think Avalon is a member of the Arcanum.
Okay. We're doing this a little retroactively, but was anyone else officially a part of a faction? Mr. Hawke, are you officially a part of the College of Wizardry?
I want to say yeah.
Okay.
He would dabble in the Arcanum, though.
Okay.
Or Vox Populi, sorry.
Yeah, but officially as a part of the College of Wizardry. Okay. But neither of you received a positive or negative tag, so we're cool there. Is Mr. Bernard, Mr. Sinclair, are you actively a member of any of the factions?
Trying to think if his aunt has basically signed him up to be part of the matchmakers. I don't think he's, trying to push their agenda or anything, but
totally up to you. That would be up to you if you want to be an official member of the matchmakers faction.
I don't think so. I think right now he's not a card carrying member of any of them, but the matchmakers certainly have a claim on him.
They're certainly vying for him. Fair enough. Is Ms. Booker officially a part of any of the factions?
Officially, no.
Okay. So we don't add to any of those. So it'd be if anyone that is a member of the faction got a positive tag, that's a +1 for the faction. Any negative tags, -1 for the faction. If the leader acted publicly in accordance with society's conventions and expectations, that's a +1. 1. So I would say both Miss Ariana and the professor acted in accordance. Would you all agree? I mean, they were at the party. They didn't make fools of themselves. Didn't do anything shady. So that's good. That's a +1. I don't think any of the leaders acted publicly in contravention with those conventions. And if not, then add 0. Okay. So we just get to add a +1 to each of their scores. Lovely. Well, the college can't go any higher, so they stay at their 4, but we do move up 1 for the matchmakers. So the matchmakers go up to a 1, a +1.
Okay, and that's kind of cool that first step where we were figuring out the plus and minus ones, we then take that total and that affects. So a faction's influence only ever changes by 1, if at all. It's not the sum total of what the members is doing.
Exactly, yeah. So if we're talking, you're adding it all together, and then you're looking at that final number. If it is a positive, it goes up 1. If it is a negative, it goes down 1 for the full faction. And you stay at a -4, y'all. Okay. Perfect. Okay, that's not too bad. We'll get a little snappier with it once we get the hang of it. But that is a reputation for the factions too. Look at that. Anything else for our play cycle here? I don't think so. If my play cycle will come back in. There we are. I think that's everything on that one. We don't have any of those. We've calculated and adjusted. Decrees. Let's see. Do we want to create or pass any decrees? I personally, for the professor, don't feel that there are any to put forth at the moment. I'm Ariana too. Shit. I don't think she has any at the moment either. Am I all of them? I am all of them. Shit. Well, neither does the advocate currently. They're still watching and waiting, so we'll hold off on decrees.
You're saying the advocate isn't Morrigan?
Maybe not. We'll see. Why did you all give me all of this power? Anyway, all right. We'll play with decrees at a later date. All right. Moving on, I believe that covers reputation. So we will move on to one of our favorites, rumors and scandal, Woot! We get to write some rumors. So I believe, for Miss Booker, you already had some rumors that you had to spread. Is that correct?
So we had 2 at character creation that we had to write and spread.
You want to let everyone know what those are?
Oh yes, that the Blackwood family paid an assassin to attempt to kill Baroness Cross. And that the Blackwood family was attempting human transmutation magic, which is looked down upon as a practice.
I would say, also, if we're doing rumors and scandals, we need to pick things up a little bit. Yeah.
But those are both spread,
So overall, society does believe that the Blackwoods are blackguards and were involved in some nasty, nasty business.
Whoever the Blackwoods are.
Who are those? We don't have any Blackwoods here, not anymore.
There's been a Blackwood here in 50 years.
What? I love it. Okay, well, since I made Sean start, Sean, you can start with rumors too. Again, we get 2. We'll go around in the you and reverse you fashion. There's really only room to create at the moment. The other 2 are already spread. What do you think?
Oh boy, I feel like there's almost too many options right now for who or what to create rumors about. I am going to say the College of Wizardry has created I don't want to say like special group, task force, something like that, for the specific purpose of hunting down members of the Arcanum Populi.
Ooh, I love it. Okay. The College of Wizardry has created a secret task force for the specific purpose. Sorry, it's taking me a little while to type in these new nails. For hunting down members of the Arcanum Populi. Period. Why did you do that? I hate this thing already. Okay, there we go. Done. Savvy, you're up.
It's me. I'm going to put the rumor out there, since she has now been seen in society, that Baroness Guinevere Cross is planning to name her estate's successor as Morrigan rather than Avalon.
Name her heir as Morrigan instead of Avalon. Nice. All right. I like it. RJ, hit me.
The Hawke family is using some sort of enchantment magic on Professor Camilla Wilmore.
Family is using illegal enchantment magic. Illegal. Family is using illegal enchantment magics on Professor Wilmore. I like it. Alex, what you got? I feel like this mystery music like ups the stakes on all of these rumors.
I've got just nice piano music in the background right now.
Oh, fair.
Let's see. I don't know. I think there's going to be someone out there who's just like, wait, that American does all kinds of magic. He must be the advocate. So someone out there is trying to spread the rumor that Bernard is the advocate.
Mr. Bernard Sinclair is actually the elusive advocate of the Arcanum Populi. Love it. Oh, it's me. I get 2. All right. Give me so much fun stuff to play with. I am gonna spread that the Baroness is planning to name Morrigan. And I am going to create a new rumor that the auricular matchmakers have uncovered the identity of a outlying heir to the Sealy throne within Bexley. Because why not add more drama? It's my job. All right, back around. Alex.
Trying to think if we can get something about Jessamine in here, but I also feel like she's probably beneath the notice of most of the rumor mill.
It's kind of the way she likes it right now.
Yeah. This has been my first thought before, so I think I'll say it again, that there is another member of the Hawke family in town, which we know it's Zachary, but that is not necessarily known to the rumor mill, just there's someone other than Jarvis here.
Okay, there's another member of the Hawke family sneaking around town. I like it. Jay.
We know about the dragon, correct?
What's that?
We know about the dragon, correct?
You hadn't told anyone else about the dragon yet.
Oh.
The what?
The what?
The what? There is a coven of witches in the mountain, entreating with a creature.
There is a coven of witches at the center of Mount Whitebridge that are what?
Entreating with a creature.
That are entreating a creature
Oops.
within.
It's fine, guys. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. It's fine. Don't worry about the dragon. It's cool. It's
That
cool.
was a slip of the tongue, a turn of phrase, a Freudian slip.
Yeah. You know about the dragon. You know, it's an expression. Yeah.
I'm sure it's a thing Jarvis says to all the ladies.
Savvy. What you got, Savvy?
Well, now I want to spread a rumor about Jarvis's dragon.
I have not been marking enough, but that's that marker's going on right now. Jarvis's dragon.
Already got you.
Thank you.
I
would
all
like
of you.
to. No, you don't. Don't lie
You
to the
love
internet.
us.
You're not allowed to lie on the internet. That's a crime.
No lying.
I'm going to spread in the midst of this very dramatic music, which I love. I'm going to spread the rumor.
I can lighten it up a little bit if you'd like. I'm
No,
just
I
really enjoying
love
the
it.
mystery shit.
That the college has created a secret task force for hunting down the Arcanum Populi. I want to
Spread
that.
it.
I think that's fun.
Yes. Excellent. And Shang.
This is gonna be. I'm sorry about this.
Drop the bomb. Do it.
Are you serious?
Despite her mild-mannered appearance,
He's trying to ruin my life.
Jessamine Booker is seeking any means of climbing up the social ladder in Bexley.
Jessamine Booker is trying any means to climb the social ladder in Bexley.
I just want to put out there that the tag I started out with was sweet. And how dare you?
How dare?
Rumors are mean. Rumors are really
How
mean.
dare you?
I don't know who made that rumor, but they're a mean person.
They're just
so mean.
mean-spirited. Wow. I mean, anyone
saw
that
you were-
knows her.
They just saw that she was pretty, and they just got jealous, and...
They hate me because they ain't me.
You know it. I believe.
You also know I refuse to spread rumors. I only make them.
He only makes them. It's true.
It's a choice. That finishes out our first round of Rumors and Scandal. I think we'll definitely have time to at least get through Epistolary and maybe get started on our second novel chapter. Let's see how it goes. And letters. We've got letters. It's time for letters. In Epistolary, you will each write at least 2 letters, either from your major character or from one of the connections that you control to literally anyone you'd like. So let's go in reverse, shall we? We'll pick on Alex first, and then we'll go back around.
We're going to start with you, but let's see. I think there is. I think Avalon gets a dozen copies of the same letter from Bernard because it's
it's fun that way.
Dear Laird Avalon Cross, I hope that you will get at least one of these letters, given your prodigious post problems. At least one of these copies should make their way to you. We really do need to find more time to get reacquainted. I've only been back in town for a few weeks at this point, but even in that time, I've barely seen you outside of societal events. We should find time to, go riding or hunting or whatever it is you Brits do for fun over here. We've also got matters of potential business to discuss. I need to let you know what I've been getting up to back in the colonies, with heavy quotes and italics there. But
enchant sarcasm into the font.
Yeah. You can find me at Starlight Manor, or, just ring and I can make myself available. Bernie.
Do we name these episodes? Because I'm going to, if we do, I'm definitely going to make sure we have one visitation where Avalon spends the weekend at
Bernie's. Yes, I do think we need to name them. I will make these arrangements with LB for show. Excellent. All around excellent. RJ.
Jarvis grabs a basically sapphire earpiece, clicks it in, and taps it. He is going to send a message to a dear distant cousin. The pieces are assembled, added to A1, Arabian to B1, Lioness to E1. Osprey is on the board, G8. Let the games begin.
I hope you'll have that written down so I can get it from my notes later.
Excellent.
Alex is gonna be sitting in his conspiracy board and have everything try to translate this by the end of the campaign.
I can't wait. I can't
All
wait.
the red string behind me.
Hell yeah. Savvy.
Okay. A very formal, almost too formal letter from the Baroness Guinevere Cross to Avalon. You receive this across your desk It is very finely folded, a large seal on it, set on top of everything else you were supposed to be responding to. Avalon. An American. Really? As if you haven't disappointed me enough. You can't even hold yourself to the family standard at the family estate. It's been entirely too long since we've had a meal together, so you will join me for dinner in 2 days' time in the formal dining room, and we will discuss your behavior. Her Most Honorable Baroness Guinevere Cross.
Sean?
Avalon's just got a pile of letters on their desk. Half of them are from Bernard. He's got the ones from his mother. God. One of the letters, I think, not going to respond to Mom. Is going to send a letter in response to Bernard. Bernie, please stop using the titles, especially in correspondence. It, as I said, is very tiresome. Yes, I do believe we should make arrangements. As I said, we should meet soon. Can't discuss many of the details in this fashion, but perhaps for drinks. Did we give the pub a name in this
Not yet.
town?
We haven't yet.
Oh boy, do we want to go
What's
and do
it
that?
called?
Let's see,
Whitebeards.
Mr. Pub.
Well, so it is Savvy's Connections pub.
Oh, that's
Do you
right.
have a
Well, she's
That's
the bartender. She doesn't really.
The bartender. She doesn't own the
it.
place.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. I've got from Fantasy Name Generators, the Dutch Axe, the Honorable Angels Pub, the Lyrical Crystal Pub, the Familiar Badger Pub, the Moldy Skies, the Responsible Book Pub, the Orange Ore Tavern, the Empty Dinosaur, the Disarmed Lobsters Tavern, the Quickest Flea Tavern.
I
Yeah,
like
I,
that.
I kind of liked the empty dinosaur, but I was also thinking like the Wizard's Familiar.
Do you like the idea of dinosaurs being a mythical creature? And this place is like, oh, you know, they found dragon bones and they just didn't find the wings and they thought it was a dinosaur or something.
And I like the sign just being like a gigantic brontosaurus with this huge belly, and then just like the name of the place is the empty dinosaur, like on the big belly.
I had two thoughts: either how gothic we want to go with this, and how if we want to do something about being like Whitebridge or something. Because I had like the Dead Raven or like the Dead Crow or something like that as the pub.
That's pretty good too.
But if you guys want to go dinosaur, I can try to say that with a straight face.
Can we do like a type of dinosaur?
The empty brontosaurus.
Something that's not like. I'm trying to meet you halfway, Sean.
The empty pterodactyl, the P is silent. Is the tagline underneath the bar.
Oh, okay,
The
how about
big
this?
silent.
How about this? Meet you halfway. It's the empty raven, but it's a dead raven.
Sure, I'm good with that.
That's the
I
sign. It's
can't
just
think of a
it,
dinosaur name that I can sit here and say for the rest of this campaign.
without
I will
laughing.
never go to this pub.
The Drunkalophosaurus. The Blitzed Brontosaurus.
God, please.
The vexed
Velociraptor.
Let's meet for drinks at the Empty Raven. 3 days' time. I have some acquaintances that you should probably meet. I do hope you enjoyed your time with the twins, and they weren't too much of a handful. We'll speak soon. Sincerely, Valley.
Just including empty whoop and hitting my microphone very loudly. Empty Raven is the name of the game. Oh, I get 2. All right, here we go. The first will be the first will be from Ophelia, who is Jessamine's BFF. She'll send something along over to the Cross Estate. Very quickly jot it off in between her working, probably has like a friend just drop it off in your room. But it reads, Jess, you must tell me more about this party. Who was there? What was the food like? Well, I know what some of the food was like because I had to make it, but please give me all of the details. All of them. The really good ones too. And by, I mean, who was there? Okay, I just need details about all the attractive people. Just all of them, please. Just descriptions. Anyway, come and find me after work in the kitchens. Love, O. And my second, you see far away as the camera pans far away to a shadowy figure sitting in front of a fire in a high-backed chair, placing a sapphire stone into their own ear, hearing the same message that Mr. Jarvis just gave, and sending a message back in kind, and it shall be... Board is assembled. Ada may be a problem or a solution. Lioness definitely needs to be dealt with. Osprey needs to learn their place. Arabian will be very helpful. Continue with the game. And that's it. Sean.
I was debating whether Zachary does something, but I don't know.
Fucking just carves the message in his arm to be a dick again.
I also don't know how much of this, like, fucking... I don't know. Whatever this bullshit that's going on right now has to do with Zachary, so I'm not gonna intervene with that. Nothing? If I write letters from Zachary, is that gonna mess with our headcanon here?
Depending on to who, but it shouldn't.
Okay. Nah, I'll wait for that. I'm gonna send a letter from Avalon to it's not so much a letter as it's a note that is left to Jessamine. That is probably delivered by one of the staff. Miss Booker, I do hope that this letter, this correspondence finds you in good health. It's come to my attention that there's some extracurriculars going on with my sister. I do hope that you are paying attention with her studies and doing your best to maintain her education. It would be a shame should we have to replace another tutor before the new year. I will be checking in on my sister's work to make sure that her studies are focused on the subjects that you have been contracted to educate her on. Please do not try to stray too far from your area of expertise. Laird Avalon Cross.
Savvy.
A return correspondence from Miss Jessamine Booker to Laird Avalon Cross that makes its way across their desk. Your Honor, I very much appreciated your letter and am always open to check-ins from you regarding your sister's education as much as you wish. Attached is a full lesson plan and schedule, the one that we have been sticking to for several weeks now. I hope you will find them to your liking, as you did approve them when I came on board to your household. But check-ins and constructive criticism are always welcome. If you would like to sit in on some of our lessons, again, Your Honor is always welcome in our presence. Should you like to discuss this further with me, as you have so keenly noticed, it is my area of expertise, perhaps we could sit down for tea. Yours, always in service, Miss Jessamine Booker.
RJ.
A letter from Skylar Maddox to Bernard Sinclair. Bernie, I'm sorry I didn't quite catch you at the event. You seem to have disappeared out of thin air. I did hear quite, I wouldn't say quite scandalous rumor that you were hanging out with that Hawke fellow, but the public eye is the public eye. Please do be careful who you speak with and whom you are seen with. Remember, if you need anything, I am only just a message away. Signed, Skylar.
Alex.
I think this one is going to be from Morgan to Avalon. There's not even a preamble, and I think you actually probably, she tried to come up to speak to you at some point prior to this, but you were just like, oh, sorry, I'm too busy. I have to, deal with business of some kind. And so you get a note later that's just, Valley, I heard from one of the servants that you sent a rather cross note, cross, to Miss Booker. She has been nothing but lovely and has been my favorite tutor I've ever had. Sure, she maybe teaches me a few things beyond what she was hired for, but how is that a bad thing? I have learned so much with her, and she has made my studies so very interesting. Please do be kind to her. I know you are very busy and you tend not to give much time to our servants, but I do think that if you took the time to actually have a conversation with her, you might find her not repugnant. And I think it's misspelled, but she clearly tried to use a big word that she doesn't fully understand. really like her, so please don't fire her. At least not yet. Morgan.
I love all of you dearly. That, I think, shall sum up letters. We move into our next novel chapter. I shall say these should probably be some visitations. We have a couple different options for those that might not know for novel chapters. One of the most popular is a big an event chapter. That means everyone's there at the same time. Things are going on simultaneously. Visitations are smaller scenes that can be just between one or two folks. Yeah, does anyone have a particular visitation in mind to get us started?
I don't know about getting us started, but there were two groups that wanted to get drinks. I kind of want to, if I have to spend a resolve token, to make them happen at the same time. But we
Yes,
can get to that later.
But I'm all about it.
Yeah. Well, what were the two? So it was Bernard and
Avalon, and then
and
Jarvis
Avalon.
and Jessamine.
It was everybody, basically.
It's all the major
That'd be
characters.
funny.
all major characters.
I do want to do that. I do want to have the scene with Avalon and the Baroness before any interactions between Avalon and Jessamine.
Yes.
But not saying we have to do that first, but that was the only
Maybe we start out with that, because then we can at least finish off the remainder of the evening getting started with the drinks. So yeah, let's
Big
do that.
energy to start out with.
The meal, brunch, breakfast,
dinner. I think is what she
Dinner.
said, right? Probably just the two of them across like a very long table in the formal dining hall.
Oh yeah, they're sitting on opposite ends of the table.
I'm imagining. Did I name the estate yet?
I don't know that
According
you
to
did.
the sheet, I'm the only one that's named an estate.
What's the name of your house?
I was gonna go with Iron Hand. Estates? Manor? Estates. Iron Hand Estates.
Do it.
Iron Hand Castle.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I don't know for that.
Yes, the
Got it.
crosses are that pretentious. Yes, it is Iron Hand Castle.
All right, that works. Yeah, imagine like big, dark, gothic interior. Flying buttresses is a word that I learned at some point, and yeah, big fireplace like at the end that's framing his mother, where she's sitting at the head. Avalon comes walking in and, oh, you're already here.
You're 10 minutes late.
You didn't set a time.
Apologies, does the Baroness have to set a time, Avalon?
Right, of course, Mother. My apologies.
Sit.
Sits down.
The servants managed to just sort of levitate in the first course from the other room. I'm imagining like almost, half set of doors. And as soon as they've levitated the first course in, they sort of look around and shut those doors.
Just the two of us tonight, then?
Yes, I thought we could talk.
Great. Always love talking with you. What about this time?
Wipe your hands before you start eating, you animal.
No need to get petty. I heard a lovely bit of gossip around town that regarding Morgan being the successor to the estate. Made me laugh, considering I don't believe you'll ever give up the estate to anyone.
Well, I don't plan to. But
Wouldn't imagine so.
gossip is incredibly beneath you. Or it should be.
Can be a fun way to pass the time. Getting out a bit. Seeing the town that you lord over.
You have no other way to be passing your time. Perhaps reading your mail, going over important documents, doing anything regarding this estate.
Right. I find myself quite busy. Busy enough with the little bit that you leave to me. Did you just want to eat to berate me for the next hour, or was there actually something important that you wanted to discuss?
Such a simplistic version of my expectations. I want to discuss this, party, I suppose, you've just found yourself at. I find your behavior, the nicest word I can think of, is unacceptable.
And what was so unacceptable about my behavior?
Well, first, you tend to make a fool of yourself standing in the center of crowds of people longing for their attention. Is completely ridiculous. Unrefined.
Right. And
A cross does not ask for attention. We gain it through our behavior and through our status. This begging will not do. And then, on top of all of that, you spend your time fraternizing with an American.
I see no reason not to make friends.
I am loath to even ask for an explanation as to why you need to be friends with an American.
He has interesting ideas.
Ideas about how to run an estate. About how to keep your promises to your family.
I keep the ones that are important.
You would do well to remember, Avalon, that what seems important to you might not be what is important to your kin.
Right. Well, I can promise that I am looking out for the best interests of the people that I find important to me. I find myself losing my appetite. Was there anything else you want to discuss?
No. It has just become very, very clear to me that there is one person who is important to you.
Right. A pleasure as always. And the new hire with the tutor, great. Miss Booker seems lovely. I'm sure she'll be here long.
Good night.
Good night, Mother. And Avalon stands abruptly from the table and walks out.
The servants slowly float his untouched meal out of the dining room. And Avalon heads off.
Boy, I hate her.
She's the worst, and it's awesome.
I just want to be very clear that Sean asked me for this.
I did ask for this. What was the descriptor I gave to you?
I was told Delilah Caldwin from Dishonored, but
Yeah.
with an actual title.
Yeah.
Yikesies.
So this was
Like I
not
said,
my choice.
irredeemable.
Irredeemable was the word.
I love it.
Sorry.
It's fantastic. Let's move on to some shenanigans to end out the night. I am 100% okay with someone spending a resolve token to have these two tete-a-tetes happen at the Empty Raven at the exact same time. So whoever wants to spend it, spend it. RJ, spend it.
Now, I'm trying to think. Illusion magic is obviously a thing that could happen in this world, but I also don't know. Certainly, Bernard sees no reason to use it, even if he may be one of the ones most skilled in it among the group. But just raising that as a possibility in case anyone wants to employ it if they do not want to be seen at such an establishment.
It's very true. A glamour of some kind. Very possible.
I was thinking that Avalon probably just dresses down. That's a weird thing to say after the character I've been playing for the last 6 months.
He is not Raleigh.
Not Raleigh.
Not Raleigh.
Dresses down to like a more common level of like hopefully no one will recognize them. And doesn't wear as much jewelry. Does wear one prominent like heavy silver ring.
Just in case.
But otherwise is very like subdued to the point where I don't think anyone in the bar that doesn't know them would recognize them. But I don't think worries too much about like being glamored.
Fair enough. We'll say, yeah. Why doesn't Avalon? Avalon's the first one there. After leaving their mother in the dust.
Oh yeah, can we make that the same evening? That would
Hell
be,
yeah. Oh, he
that'd be
stormed out and
wonderful.
went straight to the pub. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. All right, so they get there first. Your drinking buddy then would arrive.
Bernie.
Ellie, you, to borrow, one of your turns of phrases, you look like bloody hell.
Right. Feel like it. You can see like probably already had one drink that they've finished off waiting there. And says, I just had dinner with my mother.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right. You came up.
Does she honestly not remember me? Like, we were friends as kids.
It was about the same conversation that I remember. I could probably replay it, to be honest. I'll have to purge my memory after this. But yes.
Well, alcohol does that just as well as magic.
Right. Another, please.
Sure thing, love. And it's Heidi, who is more than happy to listen in on your conversation. And as that transpires, Mr. Hawke, we'll say you arrive next.
Probably doesn't notice Avalon and Bernard sitting in the corner, so he takes a seat by the bar, orders himself an ale, and just waits.
And Jessamine last, but does have the advantage of seeing her drinking buddy at one corner of the bar, and Avalon and the American at the other.
Do we see her at the same time?
Want to spend a token to make that happen?
Sure. Just so I can say, ah, bloody fuck.
Jessamine, are you amenable to that?
Absolutely.
Give her a token.
All right, you got a token.
Jessamine, you muck in. You see this scenario ahead of you. You see Avalon in mid-conversation. Avalon peeks their head up and does one of those.
Jessamine just smiles.
Oh, God.
What is it now? Do we need more drinks, or?
No, the tutor, Miss Booker. Why would my mother must have sent her spy after me or follow me or something.
And I think I want to have Bernard use just a little magic. I don't think this is quite enough to merit a token, but basically just something so that they can see, behind them without fully turning their head around. Just like a minor incantation so that he can see, who Avalon is talking about without just being like, huh? But I can also spend a token if we need to.
The hair is impossible to miss.
And by the principle of, would it be fun if you fucked it up? No. So, yeah, why not?
His eyes explode.
Oh, not again.
Oh no, I like the almost creepy idea of like his eyes like fog over almost white as if like they're rolling all the way back to be seeing out of the back of his head. I think that would
or at
be
least
pretty
one
dope.
does.
Yeah.
But I saw her at the party.
Right. I've had my suspicions about her since Mother hired her. It wouldn't be the first tutor that she paid to try to spy on me and brainwash Morgan.
Oh, I didn't see her around you or your sister. I just bumped into her at the party.
And pleasant or...
I don't know if this is my place to say, but seemed to have quite the interaction with Mr. Hawke. They both got rather flustered and quickly parted ways.
Mr. Hawke, you say?
Yeah.
Jarvis Hawke?
Yeah, and I mean, he said it wasn't his place to mention how they may or may not have known each other, but that's
And he's sitting at the bar, right? Does she walk over to him?
Jessamine.
Yeah, she goes and sits next to him, but on the far side of him, so she can still see you.
The same Jarvis Hawke that I am looking at right now.
the eye in the back. Bernard's head flicks over. Huh. Interesting.
What could they possibly be up to?
Well, let me show you some of their American magic. And at this point, I think I would like to spend a token magic thing to try and be able to listen in on that conversation.
Ooh. Jessamine. Is this are you going to take this token, or should this be a receiving of a token for Mr. Sinclair?
She'll take it with the full knowledge of she sees Avalon here and is 100% suspicious that they are at least watching, if not listening. So you can hear
Fair.
everything they say.
Excellent. You get to take a token, and then you get to ask the question to
Oh, jeez.
Alex. of your choice? Is it who helps you? Does a faction take an interest in this or an exception to these actions? Is there an unintended side effect? Or what does the magic demand?
Ooh, unintended side effects.
What's the unintended side effect, Mr. Sinclair?
I think maybe. I think this will be the most fun for all of us. It's going to be kind of the same thing that Heidi did of like sending a mote over, but you're also going to be able to hear the conversation that we're having at our table.
I love it.
Amazing.
You left the mic on.
Speakerphone.
Oh no.
Amazing. So I think that's a great place to end for the evening, as this magical moat that unintentionally is sort of a two-way walkie-talkie here sort of floats over to Jessamine and Jarvis's conversation while Bernard and Avalon are like, shh, what are they saying? I don't know, be quiet. And can be very audibly heard from both of the other parties.
That
that's
American
so
magic.
good. Alex, that's so good.
That was amazing. I love it. I'm gonna just venture a guess that we're off to a fucking great start, friends. I am so excited. So let's go around. Please talk about all of the wonderful things that all of you wonderful people are doing on the internet. And also give me a star and or a wish, because we're doing it. So let's go around the table and we'll start with Sean. Sean, where are you on the internet? What wonderful things are you doing? And give me a star and or a wish if you got it.
Hi, I'm Sean. I am the Kraken King on Twitter and Twitch. And you can find me here whenever we're live tomorrow for the finale of Neon Souls. Come join us for that as we're finishing up our season 1, heading into our season 2, starting on the 1st of the year, where we're going to be playing Cypher, switching over from the Sprawl to a new system. So you can come join us while we build our new characters and talk about what we're going to be doing. Also, I'm doing a Pokemon Shield Nuzlocke run right now. We did another little installment today. We got through the Ice Gym. We're just cruising right along. So we'll see how that all turns out. Probably won't be doing one tomorrow. We'll see. But you can keep an eye on our Discord and our Twitter to see when I'm just randomly decide I'm going to do the next installment of that, because it's just within like 20 minutes I'll be live. And stars and wishes. I have wishes, but I want to keep those secret for now. Stars have to go to Savannah for just making me hate my mom. Because God, that is a 180 from last season. And I am here for it, and you've did me proud.
Yay, Savvy.
I was told nasty and irredeemable, so that's what you're getting. Hello, I'm Savvy. I am at Savvy Seaworth on the internet, and because it is finale week across literally everything I'm doing, starting today, I'm a GGK exclusive again. So yeah, I had a couple of finales this week. You can check them both out this coming week on the VODs or on twitch.tv/Encounter Roleplay. They'll be on the Encounter Roleplay YouTube as well. Our D&D show, Song of the Deep, had its wonderfully emotional finale. And then we had our Eye Hunt finale as well, in which it was all very dramatic and there were a lot of vampires, and yeah, it was very bloody and cool this week, so check those out. But yeah, I'm here. Next week I have a couple of days off and I don't know what to do. But yeah, I'm at Savvy Seaworth on Twitter. I'm gonna pin my new schedule there. And stars and wishes. I'm gonna give a star to Jessamine's current best friend out of the characters that are being played, Morgan, to Alex, for inhabiting that incredibly. I thought Morgan was so sweet and nice, and everyone would die for her immediately. So that was great. I think she's great. I think you're doing great. And then wishes. I want to get Avalon and Jessamine in a room together.
Alone?
Preferably.
All right.
Because apparently they got some shit to work out.
Words.
They've got some shit to work out.
Adding it to the collab. RJ.
Hey everybody, like I said at the start, you can catch me at rjustice282 on the Twitter and Twitch, where I normally tweet when I'm going live on video games and shows like this one. Stars and wishes. Stars? Y'all are killing it. I'm loving every second of... Why does it have to be every 2 weeks? Wishes. Hey Alex, let's get up to some magical hijinks.
Pub crawl!
Pub crawl. Pub crawl.
There's only one pub. Although there
Oh.
could be other pubs. Maybe out in the woods with the courts.
It's like a pub crawl to Dead Raven, some courts out in the woods, back to Jarvis's laboratory to try out his microbrewery.
Ah!
Now I'm just thinking of that pub that was in the middle of the woods. And did y'all watch Gallivant?
Oh man, we're gonna have some fun next time.
'Cause that's all I could think of.
Last but not least, Alex.
We're off on a secret mission.
I'm going to send you all a YouTube video of the song that happens in the bar in the middle of the magical woods in Gallivant. You're gonna love it.
Amazing.
Let's see.
Well, who are you? Where can we find you?
Oh, yes, I'm Alex, OMG. It's some guy on the internet. Sometimes I stream video games on my own channel, very casual, much less professional than here, which I may be picking up. Some of my super professional have not done the stream in like 2 years, but maybe picking up some of my old video game streams I used to do on this channel now that I've got some time in the next few weeks. But for this game, let's see. I think stars, basically to all of us, but specifically as we played our connections. Very curious to see how some more of those go. And wishes. I'm curious to see how Bernard and Jessamine would actually interact together, because so far that's basically the only major character interaction we haven't really had much of, because we also still need to see Avalon and Jarvis together. So yeah, the main character connections we haven't had yet.
I will be perfectly honest. I thought you meant by Bernard being like, oh, I'm going to go show you some good old American magic, that he was going to stand up and walk on over and start hitting on Jessamine. That's what I thought was going to happen. I'm not going to lie.
I'll spend a token.
You've got all the tokens now,
I have
basically.
so many tokens.
You have so many already. This is the first session.
I did want to clarify, because I did Google the Gallivant reference that I was making just to make sure I was making it right. If you guys haven't seen this, there is an episode of Gallivant, which was this great TV musical, blah, 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 in which Kylie Minogue was in an episode, and there was a bar, and the song is called Off With His Shirt. I'm going to post it on the internet.
Y'all are going to get
it's amazing.
So many shenanigans. It's going to be awesome.
Off with his shirt.
I'm just gonna say it. You can find me on the Twitters at Greek Sid. I am a GGK exclusive. I'm here a couple nights a week. I'm doing all this craziness, and I'm so excited. Stars for the potentially evil brothers interaction and carving shit on your arms. That was great. It was super creepy, and I can't wait for more of it. My wishes is, I already sense like potential relationship-ies already happening. So I'm just hoping we elaborate on those more, because you know me and I've got to have a wedding by the end of this. So, no bigs. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're here live, if you've caught us on the YouTubes, I'm going to ask you a favor. If you have your own stars and wishes, go ahead and tweet them at GGK or show up in the Discord and let us know if you have any ideas for what you'd like to see. But until next time, which is in 2 weeks, I believe. So when is our next one?
That is New Year's Eve.
Are we really playing New Year's Eve? Is that happening?
Let's make a drinking game out of it. Every
I'll
time you
be
get a
here.
token, let's
I
drink.
am
here.
perfectly all right with doing that. So
I'll be here.
None of us work the next day, so we'll play an extra hour and we'll play until midnight.
perfect.
Nice.
Well, midnight for some of us on the East Coast.
Yeah. Me and Alex will have another hour, but it'll be fine.
We'll play for 2 extra hours.
Count the ball dropping.
And for both of them, it'll be great.
In between now and then, we will write a drinking game for the audience to follow along. And maybe us, you don't know.
Perfect. Yeah, probably. We'll see you on New Year's Eve then. Until then, as always, friends, good game and good night, Internet.